All right, here we go. And Beth, you should be able to share. Let me know if you can get your screen up.
Okay.
Oh, we have a little bit of that freezing going on still.
Testosterone, it decreases your cortisol, which is your stress hormone. So this is absolutely a fake it until you make it pose. World-class athletes do this. Next time, you have something stressful coming up, go ahead and do the power pose. It works. All right, so interestingly enough, when I started Pretty Loaded, I decided to include in my logo the power pose. So that's what that is. That's somebody with their hands above their head like that. That's the best possible way that you can feel when you're super happy. And then a shield above means that you're able to protect yourself. So loaded is not what a lot of people think it means. It means an abundance of options. And then after this training, you're going to be an excellent resource for your loved ones and your friends and your family members when it comes to safety. So this training is about empowerment and confidence. We're going to run through situational awareness skills, predator and common tactics. After this training, you're going to know exactly who predators are and how they target you. We're going to talk about verbal defenses and personal space. So if you are ever put into a situation, what you say, how you change your body language will make them choose somebody else and not you. And then defensive hardware, we're going to talk a little bit about what you could carry to protect yourself, a little bit of martial arts as well. And I'm going to put this all together into work and then urban safety tips. And we're going to cover a lot, but it's very important to have the mindset of what happens and what you can do. So the mindset that something could happen equals you're better prepared to deal with it. So be proactive to reduce your vulnerability. And this is absolutely a life skill. All of us should know how to protect ourselves. And so right now we're going to start a personal safety plan because it's better to be safe than sorry. And so our motto is it's better to have the skills and not need them than need the skills and not have them. What price would you pay to know how to respond to a criminal? Whether you respond the right way or the wrong way means that they would steal from you. All right, so everyone can jump in to this question here. What is the average response time by the law enforcement to a 911 call?
Throw it in the chat if you think you know.
Normally I give out hats and all of that kind of fun stuff, but
Got 9 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 4 minutes, 20 minutes.
Okay,
30.
good job. Okay, it's actually 10 to 15 minutes is the average response time. Now we do know that this is changing. It's going up higher and higher every day. But the interesting thing about that is that the average response is over in 9 seconds. So usually somebody assaults you or takes something from you or does something to you in an average of 9 seconds. So when seconds count, help is minutes away. The police actually have a name for this. It's called yo-yo time. You're on your own until the police can get there. But right now, I'm going to train you what to do. So interestingly enough, the number 4 cause of death in the US is accidents. And it used to be number 3 before COVID. But this training is not just for if somebody's going to, do something ominous to you. It's about paying attention to your surroundings, because if you pay attention to your surroundings, your chances of surviving and not getting hurt or killed also increase. So what is situational awareness and what are some skills? So it's really the foundation of your personal safety. It focuses on conflict avoidance. You're paying attention to your surroundings. You see what's going on. This was first developed in World War II for the Marines, and it's white, yellow, orange, and red. And I'm going to go over these things to explain to you what color code you should be in so you're not a target for a criminal. And now the person who developed this, Colonel Cooper, he also said that situational awareness is far more important than weapons or any type of martial arts, because you are not in the fight. You can see it coming and you can get out of it. So the first condition I want to explain is condition white. This is when you are unaware, you're distracted, you're the criminal's perfect target. You're on your phone and an easy target. Just think about this. If you were a criminal, you would pick somebody who's super easy to steal from as well. Condition yellow, this is what I want you to stay in when you're out in public. Relaxed and alert, you're not expecting to be attacked that day or stolen from or anything, but you're just paying attention. You know, you're seeing everything going on around you. You're scanning all around. You're difficult to surprise, so you're difficult to harm. I want you to live in this condition while you're in public. Condition orange is when a specific event or person alerts you and attention is needed. And I'm going to go through that a little bit later in the training. I'll go through an example of what you can do. But in that situation, you need to come up with a plan to get out of the situation. Do you need to come up with an excuse to get out of the home that you're in? Do you need to cross the street? What do you need to do? But you need to get out of this situation because time is everything. And condition red is when somebody is on you, you're not paying attention, your safety is threatened. Most people freeze if they've not had this training. It's go time, you need to react now, you need to escape, or you need to use a tool or fight to escape. So it's all about being aware or distracted when you're out in public. It's as simple as that. So think about it. How aware are you when you're out? Are you looking at your phone when you're walking to and from work? When you're in a store, are you just looking down? You're the perfect target. So again, look for things that are out of place. Are people walking strange? Are people staring at you? I'm going to go through the body language of criminals in just a little bit so you kind of understand how they operate. So really pay attention. And if you see someone and you get a bad feeling about them, I'm going to talk about intuition later too, but you need to pay attention to your intuition. It's the highest form of intelligence. If you get a gut feeling that someone is not a good person or somebody is a bad person, multiple studies on this, and the people have actually looked at photos and they've chosen like 99% of the time, whether the person is a bad person or a good person, just kind of based on the photo. It's very interesting. So you really need to pay attention. Don't think that you're judging people or any of that. I mean, think about it. We all kind of profile it and judge anyway. If you get a bad feeling, think about it. Your situation, your environment, it is not within your control. You can't help whether somebody comes into the same store you're in, or you're in a home doing a signing and then some crazy guy comes up out of the basement. That's not within your control. But your awareness, whether you're present or distracted and you know how to respond to your situation, that is completely within your control. So keys for situational awareness. 360 degrees around you. You need to pay attention when you leave a store or leave a home. You need to look behind you. At all times, you need to live in condition yellow. And what do you watch? You watch everything. You especially watch your eyes, and I'll go through this in a little bit. People that are interested in you will stare at you. So they stare at either you or the target, your purse or your watch or something like that. So that gives away the target. But remember, the hands do the harm. So you have to watch where their hands are. So again, if you are aware you are difficult to surprise, you're going to have them move on to another target. So the tools for identifying the threat. We do know that when criminals go to prison, they talk. And they've done tons and tons of research on criminals. Who they go after, who do they target, and this is what I'm going to teach you. Another interesting thing is that research conducted shows opportunistic predators are up to 20% of the population. So what is the chance that you will cross the path of an opportunistic predator at some point in your lifetime? I would say it is very probable. I think we've all had close calls. The wolf is a chameleon. They blend into their surroundings. They know how to get their victims. They're very good at this. And again, there was another study done, and this was a breaking study, the Grayson-Stein study done in the 1980s. They wanted to understand the body language that makes you a soft target. So they showed thousands of criminals a video of people walking, and this is what the criminals responded. A study conducted by Grayson and Stein reveals exactly how criminals spot who they want to target. Criminals typically select victims based on nonverbal signals like posture, body language, pace of walking, length of stride, and awareness of the environment. According to this study, all of the criminals they interviewed all selected the same targets.
Their choices were not based on gender, race, age, weight, or body type. Just like predators in the wild, predators often attack the slowest in the herd. Criminals are smart and they want an easy target, not a hard target. One of the main reasons for victim selection is a walking style that lacks organized movement, flowing motion. Also included was lack of eye contact and being unaware of surroundings. Here are some soft target examples. Looking down and not having your head up. Feet too close together when walking. No shoulder swag or stiff shoulders. No eye contact or avoiding eye contact. Hunching shoulders, hands in pockets, looking down at phone, walking slowly with no purpose, taking small steps, and tense walking and not fluid motions. Here's what you can do to avoid being a target. Walk in an alert fashion. Walk fast rather than slow. Walk with purpose. Walk with your head high and shoulders back. Make sure you check where you have to go before exiting your vehicle. If you have to look at your phone, hold your phone up in front of you at eye level so you can still see your surroundings. Have strong eye contact and pay attention to your surroundings. Body language can terminate the selection process of you being chosen by a criminal.
Okay, so how do we spot a criminal? Usually the criminals that are on the street are loitering, and I would like to say that they're not looking at their phone. And why are they not looking at their phone? Because they're paying attention to look for their next victim to rob from. So you can pick out criminals just kind of by they're standing there, they're looking around, and they're staring at people. But they are not an ominous person unless their status changes, unless they lock their eyes on you and now they start to walk towards you. Okay, and I'll go through that in just a little bit on what you can do. So we always teach all of our clients to profile all strangers, not on race or gender, but on how they are acting. Okay, are they acting strange? Do they look like they just don't belong in that situation? And once again, we all profile in our mind. It's not a bad thing, it just is. The Secret Service, all major security departments profile. It's an okay thing to do. So again, the criminals give away all their steps and stages when they're in prison and when they're interviewed. The number one thing they look for is an easy target, soft target. That's number one. If they don't see that you're a soft target, again, they're going to go on and find a soft target. So I'm going to go through how you can be a hard target again in just a little bit. The second thing is, can they get close enough to you? Because they can't do anything to you if they can't get close enough to you. And I'm going to teach you how to change your body language if that should happen to you. The third thing we usually do is handing out a pamphlet, or they ask you a question. Hey, can I get the time? Or they just ask you something. This is to test you to see if you're an easy target. If you answer their question, sometimes it distracts you so they can steal from you or do whatever they need to do. So again, it's about being a hard target. Once again, the criminal said, if you look organized and structured, if you have strong eye contact, you are not going to be a target. You're too hard, you're too difficult. So a predator's body language, how do we know when someone is going into a state where they might do something to us? And again, your intuition is going to go off, your hair on the back of your neck might raise, something just might feel wrong. But we do know that violent behaviors, there are pre-attack body indicators that people do before they actually assault someone. And we have watched the videos over and over and over, and you can see them coming. You can see exactly that they're going to do something. So again, if you get that feeling that somebody's very angry, here are some other things: shallow breathing. They avert their gaze and then they stare at you first, avert their gaze, and then stare back at you, and they're usually silent. Nostril flaring, clenched fists, fight crouch or bending their knees, bouncing on their feet. That's kind of the latest thing. Jaw clenching, they're very upset. Shoulders go up. It's kind of like a peacocking to make themselves look bigger. Arms into right angles, blading their body. And I'm going to teach you how to blade your body in just a little bit to show that you're a fighter. Their leg usually moves back. And then just fidgeting, somebody that can't sit still. They've got a lot of energy that they're about to explode. So if you see somebody fidgeting. So again, staring is the first sign. Are they staring at you far too long. They just look like they're upset with you and they're locked onto you and they're staring at you. If you see this, this is the kind of eye contact I want you to give to people when you're out in public. When you're at a signing, you'll see exactly the type of eye contact that I'm talking about.
If you see someone who makes you nervous or frightens you, make eye contact with them. That basically says, I see you with your eyes. This subconsciously sends a message to the predator that you're a fighter. The element of surprise and the opportunity are lost, and you'll most likely move on to another target. The look that I want you to give is not aggressive. We don't want to escalate the situation. I don't want you to narrow your eyes and squint your brow and lean in forward like you're the aggressor. That is not what we're looking for. We're also not going to submit. I don't want you to divert your eyes, make yourself small, and look weak. That's not what we're after. I want your shoulders back. I want your head high. I want you to give the energy and the look that says, I see you. I know what you are. I suggest you move on. Not me, not today. This is the energy that I want you to give just by your body language and just by your eyes. What's interesting about this look is that famous serial killer, Ted Bundy, we all know who he is. He actually admitted in a prison interview that if a woman made strong eye contact with him, he'd wait for another target. He knew she'd be too much of a fight. For more tips like
Okay. So I want to just talk about what happens, during a situation, because it's very important that you understand how your body responds, because mindset is everything. And knowing that this happens to you just gives you a step ahead. So your body will naturally start to panic. And once again, the fact that you have this training, it's in the back of your mind, you're going to know how to respond versus having somebody say something to you or do something to you and you go into freezing. 80% of people freeze when they're put in a situation, but they have also not had a class, and that's why they freeze. But your fine and gross motor skills will deteriorate significantly. It's very hard to even call 911. Tachycyclia, time really, really slows down. You have tunnel vision. You cannot see peripherally anymore, and that is normal. Auditory exclusion, you can't even hear very well. This is your body protecting yourself for fight or flight. And then you have an altered state of memory of what actually happened. And a lot of times, if something happens to people, like police officers, or you're involved in an altercation, they give you 2 sleep cycles until your memory actually comes back to what really did happen. So a timeline of an attack, you have 1 to 3 minutes if you notice somebody, if you're paying attention. This is a ton of time to move away, cross the street, stay in your car, go into your car, whatever you need to do. 30 seconds, you still have time. We like to call it transition to Nike. All that means is run away, get away, walk away. And then 3 seconds, if you are on your phone, you're not paying attention, you will likely freeze and you will likely be surprised. This is what the criminal is looking for. As my screen freezes, hold on 1 second. Okay, so it's all about making the best decisions. Okay, the best decisions while you're driving. Did you know that when you look down at your phone in your car and you're only going 55 miles an hour, you drive an entire football field in 5 seconds? So it's simple things like that. You're paying attention when you're walking. You're paying attention when you're driving. You're not looking at your phone. You're not distracted. And when seconds count, mindset matters. So you are your own first responder, right? Because I wish the police could get there in time, but normally they're not. They're not all over the place. So your response does matter. And so we're going to do some scenarios right now. The first thing I want you, though, to think about is to trust your intuition. Once again, I know we've talked about this quite a bit, but again, it's the ability to understand something immediately without any reasoning. I think women have really good intuition, and it's a hunch, it's a gut feeling, it's a sixth sense. You just really have to pay attention to this. And if you have any time, the best book that I suggest that you read, and it's not just, for keeping yourself safe with criminals, it's for using just your intuition. And then also it talks about how humans behave. And it's called The Gift of Fear. You will not put that book down. That book will help you in all areas of your life. And again, science has discovered that we are mostly energy. We are 99.9999% energy. This is quantum physics entanglement. This is why we can pick up on other people's energy when we know somebody doesn't like us, or when, our relative walks in and they might look at us kind of strange and we get that feeling from them. We're mostly energy. And so criminals pick up on your energy. If you are fearful, I used to be fearful all the time. That's why I had so many close calls. They will be picking you because you have that fearful energy. So it's very important to not have fearful energy and have empowered energy. And again, in post-attack interviews, the victims all said they should have trusted their initial intuition, but they judged on the person's looks or the person's profession. So we need to trust our intuition. And again, Albert Einstein said, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. So here we go. We're gonna do a scenario here. And I just want to talk about the danger zone. The police department actually developed the Tooler drill. And this was developed to see how fast somebody can reach you. If somebody is, giving you signals that they're going to attack you or do something to you, how fast can they reach you? And in 20 feet, somebody can reach you in 1.5 seconds. That is super fast. So I'm going to talk a little bit later about tools or things that you can do because 1.5 seconds is very, very fast. So I'm going to teach you how to be ready for that. The danger zone, you should have a heightened awareness of anyone within 30 to 50 feet. So when you're walking to your car, you're looking way ahead, you're looking all around when you're out in public. And you're noticing people in stores, you're noticing people that seem odd. So you already have in your mind, okay, this person is kind of a red flag. So when you spot a threat, they are staring at you, but now they are moving towards you. I want you to think about how you would change your body language to show them that you don't want them to get any closer. So let's say you're at your car and you're about to get into your car, and out of nowhere, you weren't paying attention, but this guy, starts asking you a question and he's really staring at you. What would you do? How would you change your body language to basically be like, don't come any closer? Does anyone have any ideas?
This is why we needed you. We have no ideas.
Okay. Okay. So putting a hand up like this, one hand is the universal sign for stop. It doesn't matter whether they speak Spanish or, they don't speak English. Everyone knows this is stop. Now, I also want you to blade your body. When I say blade your body, you just simply blade your body. Like you're not squared off at them. You blade your body and you can put one hand up. Sometimes people can put two hands up. This has proven, again, with criminals, that it shows that you have had training. Now, if you blade your body and you have your hand like that and you say, sorry, I can't help you, with a very firm voice, this is enough for them to back off. If they don't back off, you know that you have a fight on your hands, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But a hand up like this or two hands up like that, if they're going to punch you, you can block. Your forearms are incredibly strong. Again, if you blade your body, you're ready to run. It's easier to run than if you're squared off at somebody. You can also kick somebody. But again, this is a martial arts move. It's like blading your body and putting your hand up. It shows that they're going to have a fight on their hands. They're probably going to go on to the next person. But you can say anything that you need to, back off, sorry, I can't help you, sorry, sir, sorry, ma'am, I can't help you. Don't worry about being rude, okay? There is a reason that that person, that stranger, came up to you and picked you. I guarantee you that they're probably not, they probably don't need true help, okay? So you have to get over of trying to be kind to people. So many people suffer with that. So again, it's escalating to condition orange. They should not be, especially with COVID and everything, they should not be in your personal space. They should not be coming up that quickly to you. Most people, they're not gonna, surprise you and do that kind of thing. So again, your verbal defenses, back off, I can't help you. Just changing your body language. We also teach a lot of people, if they're stuck, we train a lot of pharmaceutical reps, and they work in areas that are very bad, in downtown cities that are very dangerous. And now they've got a lot of people that are on drugs, and they're, coming up to them and doing things. And so if you can't get away, if that person is still coming at you, run around a car if you can. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about some other things that you can do. But the first thing, again, is your verbal defenses, stop, I can't help you, back off, and your strong body language. This is how
Beth,
most people.
Can I ask one quick question? Someone wants to know, should you blade towards your predominant side?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Well, you should, let's say, okay, so if you kick, think about which way you kick. Okay, so if you're right-handed, you want to blade more, because you're going to teach you how to palm strike in a little bit, but I'm right-handed. So I'm going to blade with my left arm this way, because that means my right leg is going to kick, and also this side is going to hit. So if you're left-handed,
Gotcha.
you want your right hand forward. Got that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, again, this is how most people react if they're surprised. This is not how you should react. If you freeze and you do this type of thing, it is the worst thing that you can possibly do. That is not going to be you. But we want you, if you were not paying attention for some reason and they, picked you, or they got the feeling, at a signing or something, and somebody was there that you weren't expecting, again, your strong eye contact, your posture, your body language, and I'll talk a little bit more about being in a home and how to keep yourself safe. But if you're on the street or something like that, or in a store, make them deselect you, right? One or both hands up is stop, don't come any closer. I know who you are, I see who you are. Again, hold one hand or both at chest level. And then the other thing, move to the right or move to the left. If you see them like running towards you or something like that, if you move to the right or move to the left, we call it getting off the X. That means if they would hit you, it would take away 60% of the actual blow. So just moving to the right or moving to the left and adding movement to your blade, so it looks like you really, really know what you're doing, but do not back up. If you're backing up now and you're going like that, that's submissive, okay? So we want you to move to the right or move to the left. Again, show your command presence. I had to practice this quite a bit, speaking very firmly, talking very firmly, like I mean business, like I don't want them, I can't help them, I don't want them anywhere near me. So some people really do need to practice this, but it's very important to do that, to practice. And again, the best fight is the one you're never in. Moving away from a fight is the smart option. Nobody wants to be in an altercation. And wear something that you can run in. Let's say that you're going out to dinner that evening and you have some high heels or something. Just carry those in your purse. So wear shoes that you could actually run in to dinner, and then change out into your heels. And then when you're leaving, again, swap those out, put those back into your purse. Because again, if you're wearing high heels or you're wearing shoes that looks like that you can't run, that also makes you a target. So I'm going to talk a little bit about everyday carry. What is something that you could carry on you that will help protect you? So defensive hardware is a force multiplier. And the rule is, remember, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So let's say you already have this training. you already have one thing in your back pocket. But now let's say that you have something else like a defensive spray or a flashlight or something like that. So now you have two things that can help you out. And I'm going to go through some of these things. Now, I don't care what you carry on you, but I want you to own it. I want you to practice with whatever you have. I want you to understand how it could go wrong. It can't be in the bottom of your purse because 9 seconds, if you freak out, your fine and gross motor skills are going. So it's very hard for you to think, number one. Number two, to get into your purse. So this is why you need to pay attention. This is why you need to have, if you think you're getting into that situation, you need to actively have it in your front pocket or in your hand. I used to be a big fan of pepper spray, not anymore. There is a new company out called Repulse Defense Spray. And most of the police departments are all changing over to this chemical spray. Saber Red, excuse me, or pepper sprays cannot be sprayed in a home. They have back sprays. So if you're spraying somebody, at the very end, it comes into your face. And I've sprayed multiple pepper sprays, and it happens almost every time. And now I can't see, my eyes hurt. You can't spray it in a car. Again, in a home, you're not supposed to spray it. It's more of an outdoor thing. But Repulse chemical spray is super awesome. And again, I'm kind of their spokesperson. The chemical spray, Disney has taken it. A lot of airports have shifted, a lot of police departments. I'm going to show you a quick video on why you should carry a chemical spray, especially if you're in homes or in an Uber or whatever you need, instead of pepper spray.
A new asset for Tucson Airport Authority Police is Repulse, and Police Chief Scott Bader allows himself to get sprayed to show not only how effective it is, but how quickly it can be rinsed, and how, unlike pepper spray, it doesn't impact everyone else nearby.
Okay, so the chemical spray is wonderful because let's say the hospitals are all using this now as well. I used to be a former nurse and I understand how healthcare workers are getting assaulted. But let's just say that two people were on either side of me and the person in the middle was very aggressive. You can spray it right in their face and it's not going to hit the two people next to them. So that's why it's such a wonderful thing. It also turns their face blue. So if they would try to run away, they can get caught. But unlike pepper spray, the chemical spray causes involuntary eye closure. They cannot see. With pepper spray, if you have somebody on drugs, sometimes they can fight through the pain. The next thing I want to talk about is a defensive hardware flashlight. You can carry a small little on you and be at least 200 lumens bright, and it'll say right on the flashlight how many lumens it has. The reason flashlights are great is because it temporarily blinds an attacker. So in the winter now, if you're going to work in the dark and you're leaving in the dark, this is something that you can have on you. If somebody, comes up to you and a quick, flashing it in their eyes, it's actually going to scramble their eyes. They're not going to be able to see for a little bit. It could be something where if it was an accident, you're like, oh, sorry, you alarmed me. I didn't mean to, put that in your eyes, but it does blind them for a bit so you can figure out what's going on. So I would really suggest carrying a defensive hardware flashlight. You can find those on Amazon. There's all sorts of brands that are wonderful. The Hero Eye Protect 1000 lumen bat. A lot of my clients, they're this 1000 lumens can temporarily blind somebody in the day as well. And then again, it has a strobe light effect. So if somebody broke into your house, again, it does blind them. You don't want this around children though, because it can really permanently hurt people's eyes if you're shining in their eyes too often. It's not a safe thing. But it also acts as a bat if you had to hit somebody with this bat. A Nebo Pen Light Pro. This is a defensive pen. So if you had to strike somebody with your pen, it's very hard. It's anodized aluminum on the other side of the pen. There's kind of like ridges, so it could actually really hurt somebody if you needed to hurt somebody with a pen. Again, you can use it to sign or to use it as a defense tool. Ballistic plates in your bag or backpack. There are a lot of companies that make ballistic plates, but the reason I have partnered with RTS Tactical is because they have such good plates that all the police, most of the police departments have switched over to them because they're light. You can throw it, in your backpack. It can stop a rifle. It can stop a knife, obviously it can stop a handgun. So this is something that you could add for safety. And again, improvised weapons are all around us. Let's say you're in a gas station and somebody is really, freaking you out or making you nervous, get some hot coffee, right? Hot coffee in the face. If you're in a store, there's all sorts of improvised weapons. There's chairs that you can use. Just think about that. Just think about what you could use if you had to fight. Another thing I want to show you is a cover safety app. Again, I work with this company and they're the best safety app company out there. They actually have live people on the phone if you have a scenario. And if you are nervous about going into a signing, you can go ahead and click that you're logging in. The difference with this safety app is it has your exact location once you log in. So they know exactly where you're at. They know what type of car you drive. They know what you look like. Again, when you're stressed out and something happens, you're not thinking straight. So you're not gonna know, am I at 2000 Jefferson Street or wherever your signing is because you are freaked out and you're not thinking straight. So it's nice to have, they also have a panic button. It's a wearable panic button. You can wear it on your belt somewhere people don't see. So you're actually not even pushing your phone to alert other people. You're not escalating a situation. You're pushing your panic button. Once your panic button is pushed, they know that they will send law enforcement to your location. There's tons of features that the safety app has, and it's excellent for real estate and notaries. I'm just going to go through Krav Maga just a tiny bit because I learned Krav Maga in about 10 years ago, and it's incredibly empowering. You don't have to be super fit, but I do want to teach you where to strike people if you had to. Where are the weak spots on a body? Well, everybody, let's start with the eyes. This is hard to hear, but most victims who did not make it, they have skin on their fingernails, and the perpetrator usually has scratches on their face, but they didn't know because they didn't have the mindset. Nobody taught them to stick their fingers into somebody's eyeballs. If you stick your fingers in somebody's eyeballs, they're probably going to be hurting for a very long time, and they're going to leave you alone. Okay, so that's the first thing, and you have 10 fingers to work with that. The neck, again, is a very sensitive area. The solar plexus is right below the sternum. If you had to punch somebody in the solar plexus or elbow somebody in the solar plexus because they're leading you out of a store or something like that and you're walking next to them, your elbow is super, super strong. When you hit somebody in the solar plexus, there's a bundle of nerves there, and it makes these people like just kind of bend over. They kind of fall over and they lose their breath. The groin, jokingly, we call this smackage to the package. Kneecaps, it only takes 15 pounds of pressure to break someone's kneecap. So if you kicked up under their kneecap and kicked really hard, you could break their kneecap. Again, in the back, you have the kidneys. You can push in on the back of their knees to get them to drop. And also a top thing is the palm strike. And so I want to teach you a palm strike. The reason you don't punch somebody in the face is because you have 26 small bones in your hand. And if you punch someone in the face, you're likely just going to break your hand. But let's say you're like this and you're, stop, sorry, I can't help you, right? You're like this and they keep coming at you. You can drive your palm into their nose. And I want you to go up into their nose. And if you hit them hard with the palm strike, it hurts like hell, number one. And number two, their eyes water like crazy because it hurts so bad. So those are just, there's much more I can teach you with Krav Maga, but I just want you to have that mindset of where people are weak on their body. So I want to talk a little bit about in-home personal safety tips. When you arrive, wherever you're doing the signing, tactically park your car so you can drive off. If that means that you have to back in so you can drive off, park somewhere where you're not going to get locked in. Again, when you're tactically parking your car or you're smartly parking your car, that again shows awareness. Scan the room. You know, don't just like run in the room. When you first show up, right? You're like, hi, how are you? You introduce yourself, okay? But get a feel for the room before you even take your shoes off. If you have a weird feel of something that is going on in the room, that's your number one excuse that you forgot the paperwork or something in the car, and you'll be right back. Just come up with something, that you need to get out of there. Again, strong eye contact, carry yourself, like you're not necessarily that you're a hard target, but that you're somebody that doesn't want to be messed with. You're very confident, you're organized, okay? Again, recognize body language and pre-attack indicators. And I'm going to go through a little bit of that, more of that in just a second. Don't let the aggressor ever block the door. Again, know when to make up an excuse and exit the room. Any excuse will do, okay? Because when people are angry and they're upset, they're using the reptilian part of their brain and they're not thinking clearly. So your excuse might sound like it's very valid. And if you have to say, oh my gosh, I forgot the paperwork, but I will be right back. I'm coming right back, okay? Anything to get out of that situation. Again, carry a defensive tool or a flashlight. If that's your first time to their home, it's super easy to carry one of these chemical sprays in the front of your pocket. Super easy, where you can access that very easily if you needed to. But don't have it, again, in the back of your backpack or the back of your bag. So de-escalation. I'm sure people get upset at signings because they weren't sure certain things were in the contract, and then all of a sudden it just starts to escalate. So it's very important, don't talk down, don't ignore, don't make up excuses, don't, make up excuses to get out of the situation, but don't point at them, hey, this is your fault, you should have known, any of that kind of thing. But what you need to do if you're working with somebody who is really, really upset, the best thing you can do is say, hey, I'm gonna get this worked out. I agree with you, whatever you need to say, even if you don't agree with them. I agree with you. I think this is wrong. I'm gonna go get this changed right now, and then I'll come back. But you do need to know one thing. If people are yelling at you and people are very, very upset and they all of a sudden go to complete silence, that is right before aggression. That is right before they hit or they do something bad. That is time for you to get out of the room. But I want you to get out of the room before, right after they start arguing. So I'm going to touch just a little bit on traveling safety because I think the world is really changing. It's rapidly changing. My daughter was in London not too long ago. London's not so safe anymore. All sorts of areas in the world that used to be safe are completely different than they used to be. So one good tip is to go to travel.state.gov and you can find out if they have any alerts in that area. What is the latest crime scene in that area? What are they doing? Are they tying bracelets on you and then demanding that you give them money? I mean, there's all sorts of things that people do, but I do a lot of travel safety for corporations. You can actually go into Google and then map out, like, where are you going to dinner? Where is your hotel? Where is the closest hospital? And don't just trust that the top hospital is the best one, because in other countries, it normally is not the top hospital. It's better to have these things figured out because likely you won't have to ever use that. It's nice to know, where to call, what is the number for police. The nice thing about the Cover Safety app, that all switches when you go over to different countries. And there's likely places where you don't ever go during the daytime or the nighttime. For this company, there was a place on the way to their dinners that was very high gangs, and you don't ever even step into that area, even on accident or anything like that. And you can likely find that online if you just kind of look, like, where are the worst neighborhoods you know, in Puerto Rico, and it's all on Google. So I recommend that you research this before you go. Oops. Okay, so know that fringe areas are where most crime happens. ATMs, bathrooms, stairwells, parking garages are terrible. Sidewalks, alleys, parking lots, gas stations are a huge fringe area. Libraries are where a lot of drug addicts shoot up. Restrooms and rest areas. So parking garage. Why do criminals go here? Well, they go here because they're dark most of the time and they know that there are no video cameras for the most part. So park under a light if you can. Take 5 seconds and scan everywhere before you get out. Walk away from the cars and the pillars. Walk in the middle so you have an exit plan. When you park at a store, do not park far away. This is where people can just pull up their car and take you. You know, if you have daughters or sons or anything like that, don't park really far away. Park closest to the store because criminals know there are video cameras there, and this is where the foot traffic is. This is where the least amount of crime happens. Gas stations. I want you to get out of your car and lock the doors immediately. I want you to begin fueling, but don't stay at the pump because now you may be in a state where you have to hold the nozzle. If you are, don't watch the TV. You're paying attention. You're looking all around. If you're not in a state where you have to hold the nozzle, go back into your car and lock the door, because when you're stuck at the pump, this is the perfect place for a transient person to come up and ask you a question. And we know gas stations, people get robbed there all the time. So be very, very careful when you're at a gas station. Again, they're breakaway pumps. If you had to just drive off and the nozzle had to come out, it's okay. It's a breakaway pump. You don't have to worry about that at all if you don't want to get back out of your car. Hotel safety. The safest floor is anything than the first floor. The first floor has the highest crime. Always ask for 2 keys, even if you're traveling alone, because sometimes people might be overhearing that you're all by yourself. So always pretend like you're traveling with somebody. Leave the TV on loud when you're not in your room. Keep the do not disturb sign on your door at all times. Take your valuables with you or lock them up, and then bring a door jamb. You can get an industrial door jamb on Amazon for $12. And it's about this wide, but you can slide it in the middle of your door, whether it's your work door or your house door or anything like that. And it will not, even if people tried to shoot the door down or kick the door down, it will not come down. So an industrial door jamb is a great thing to bring. Know where all exits are at all times. If you go to a concert, and let's say in Vegas, there was a shooter at the concert, there are no rules when there's an active shooter or when something bad happens. You can exit right for that stage. It doesn't matter. Again, no rules exist. When you're at a restaurant, sit so you can watch the door, but know that you can go out the kitchen. If you're in a mall, you can go out the back of somebody's store. Most of the time in active shooter events, people freeze once again, and they go out the door they came in, and that's called the fatal funnel. This is what happened at the concerts and at most shooting events. If they're public events, they go out where they came in. Again, fatal funnel. So you need to just go out the side, go out the back, go wherever you can. Public transportation is very important. Your mom and dad were right. Sit in the front. Usually the bad stuff happens at the back of the bus in pairs of 2, people trying to steal. Watch your 6 when you're taking the subway. Obviously don't stand next to the tracks. There's some wackos out there. Pick safe places to sit and to watch. And then guard your personal space. Again, during COVID, we keep actually 2 to 5 feet for very, very close friends. So if anybody comes closer to you than 5 feet, that is a red flag. Be the gray man or gray woman. When you are traveling and you're in New York or San Francisco or wherever you're at, you need to pay attention to how the people walk. Are they walking fast? You need to blend in. You're not wearing a shirt or a sweater from your hometown. You're not wearing a fanny pack. You're actually walking in the middle of the crowd. The middle of the crowd is the safest place to walk. The outskirts of the crowd are the fringe areas. That's where the pickpocketing happens. That's where the streets are, where cars can hit you. So pick the middle of big crowds when you're walking and blend in. Blend in. You're like one of them. You're not going to be picked out that day. Again, use a car or a truck as a barrier if you needed to. If you couldn't get away from somebody, you're going to run around that vehicle and use the barrier, and you're going to scream your head off until they can get to you. Carry your phone, cards, and anything that you need in a belt bag under your clothes, right under your jeans or whatever you need. Don't put high valuable items in your backpack or anything like that, especially when you're traveling. And you can find these little wearable belt bags on Amazon. And again, if you see cross the street, turn around. If somebody looks that bad that you have to cross the street or turn around or go into a store, that's not on you. They obviously have something going on with them, that they have an issue. So it's always better to be safe than sorry. I just want to run through anti-carjacking really quick. Doors locked and windows up at all times. Beware, don't stand on any roads. Make sure you see the tires in front of you, because then you have room to move. Do not fall for the light bump from the car behind you. That is a carjacking tactic. They want you to get out of your car and then they steal your car. So do not fall for that. Just, you could pull over and you could call the cops, but do not get out of your car. So I'm going to just wrap up our training here with a video.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
There are many steps you can take to keep yourself safe in public. Criminals admit to having a strategy when they pick out their targets. Predators look for distracted individuals. Remember self-awareness. What do you look like to others? You are less of a target if you are alert, aware, and have strong eye contact. You are more of a target if carrying a bag or a purse. Always put your valuables in a safe area on your body. This also frees up both of your hands. The second predator strategy is position. Can they get close enough to you? If you notice someone staring at you and taking an interest in you, then you need to create distance from that person. Cross the street or go the other direction. It's better to be safe than sorry. The third criminal tactic is to test you. They ask a question to distract you and see if you are compliant. Do not answer their question and move away from the person. If you cannot move away, then change your body language into a universal fighting stance and say,
Stop. I can't help you.
make sure you have a strong, commanding voice. The final stage is to rob or assault you if you have failed all the above steps when dealing with a criminal. Use the following safety tips while in public. Look in your rearview mirror and scan around you before you exit your car. Know that most crimes happen in fringe areas. Restrooms, sidewalks, parking garages, ATMs, and parking lots are other high crime areas. Live in condition yellow. Walk with confident body language and pay attention to your surroundings. Look for anything that seems out of place. Profile all strangers, not on their skin color or gender, but on how they are acting. Be skeptical of any person that is loitering or passing out handouts in public. You can pick out a criminal because they are not looking down at their phone. They're watching for their next victim. Remember predator tactics and strategy. Criminals look all around to see if they're watching. Stare at the target, whether it is a person or the item they want to steal. Trust your intuition and notice when your creep meter goes up. If something seems wrong, it probably is. Movement is key for your safety, along with having multiple exit options. Lastly, if you're surprised and someone grabs you, fight like hell to get away and scream as loud as you can. Never go to another location, no matter what the criminal tells you. You are a warrior and able to protect yourself. Share these.
Okay, so in your moment of truth, in your hour of need, you will not rise to the occasion, but you will revert to your training. You all now have the training. You all have the mindset of what to do and what not to do. So I just want to end here with one question. Bonnie Ware was a palliative care nurse, and she got to take care of all the dying, and she had a poll. She wanted to know what the top dying regret was. And since we're kind of short on time here, I'm just going to say it. The top dying regret was, I wish I had the courage and to live the life that I wanted. So what I'm saying to you is I want all of you to have the courage to protect yourself. All of you are here for a reason. It's a 1 in 400 trillion chance that you are alive. I want you to, again, remember to live in condition yellow, guard your personal space, use verbal commands, use physical defenses if you absolutely have to. Trust your intuition above all to guide you. And I'm going to end on a Karate Kid quote. To fight is not good, but if you must fight, win. I want you to be loaded. And I don't care if you're only 115 pounds soaking wet. If somebody tries to harm you or hurt you, I want you to unleash your inner badass and fight like your life depends on it.
Beth, this was amazing information. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I learned a ton of stuff here.
Thank you. Yeah, so here's my contact information. If you have any questions for me, we have free videos, tons of blogs on every type of safety tip that you can think of. So this is our website. And again, you can get a hold of me, and I'm going to stay here for questions if anybody has any questions.
I think we're good. I have one question for everyone. They were wondering if there's a handout or a sheet with like all of these tools, like the flashlight and the safety app.
I'll send all that to you. I'll send you the guides, de-escalation guides, and the tools and all that.
Oh, perfect. Then we'll go ahead and link it to the recording. This is recorded. And it'll be on our YouTube channel probably next week. And we'll link all of those handbooks and all the preloaded website information to Beth. Again, great information. So grateful for you. Thank you so much for joining us on Notary Public Day Extravaganza. Everybody out there, thank you so much for attending. I hope that you take something away from this, because our safety is tantamount here to every day, right? Even outside of our job. And so grateful that you all took some time out of your day to spend with us. Beth, thank you again so much for sharing with us. We so appreciate you. I hope you all have a great rest of your night if you won't be in the next couple of sessions, and a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcy. Thank you, everyone.